goodness, where do I even begin? I know I keep starting these videos of movies I like with, oh snap. Dude, okay, listen. I just got to preface first. Huge Mission Impossible fan. I'm a fat nerd, man. I mean, I like all sorts of shit. Mission Impossible's up there for some of my favorite movies of all time. 1, OG, classic. 2, I'm not really a fan of 2. It was kind of probably the weakest entry in the series, at least for me. 3, great. And then it added more style. It did a lot of world building. 4, just knocked it out of the park and then some. It went above and beyond to be just totally badass. 5, fantastic film. I still rewatch that one a lot to this day. In fact, I just rewatched that one and Fallout yesterday. Fallout, another banger. I mean, dude, these movies keep getting better and better, and Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is absolutely no exception. It has got to be probably one of my favorite Mission Impossible movies after having just came back from the theater seeing it. I'm going to keep this review spoiler free because I heavily believe you need to go see this in theaters now. Like, this isn't a wait for it to come out on Netflix, wait for it on HBO, whatever it comes out on. This isn't one of those movies, man. This is something you got to go see in theaters for yourself. It is so good. The writing is phenomenal. Most of all the actors from Fallout, except for the guy that plays Lane, who is basically one of the bad guys in Fallout, everybody but him, they make a return. So all your favorite characters are here. So yeah, and then some. They added even more characters, like the girl who plays Mantis in Guardians of the Galaxy. Her name's Pom Clementieff. I probably butchered that, but she's in this. She does a great job. She kind of reminds me of like a John Wick villain. Almost, kind of, sort of. It's just like super over the top, super like, I don't know how to explain it, but she did a really good job. The acting was phenomenal on her part. Haley Atwell was a great addition to this film, man, and her chemistry with Tom Cruise is out of this world. It was so good. And Rebecca Ferguson, obviously, she kills it. I mean, Ilsa's a badass. She is probably one of my favorite characters. She makes a return. The bad guy is... Okay, I'm going to butcher this again. The bad guy is Esai Morales, and he plays Gabriel. I've been seeing some reviews. Now, I haven't watched anything crazy, like super in-depth or spoiler reviews or anything, but I've been seeing a few people on Twitter go, oh, the villain doesn't really have as much depth. In my opinion, bruh, for bringing somebody in that was a character, we didn't see him in any of like the previous films, but to see a character be brought in as sort of a prequel bad guy, Ethan and him have encountered each other before prior to the first Mission Impossible movie. And that's all I'm going to say. But that's kind of what sets his character up. And I've been seeing a lot of people go, oh, he doesn't really have motive, blah, blah, blah. I highly disagree. Honestly, this film... So unlike Indiana Jones 5, which I know I'm talking about a different film here, but with Mads Mikkelsen, right, his character was great, just didn't have a drive. There was no real motive for us to get behind, right? In this film, there is a drive for Gabriel, Esai Morales' character, Gabriel. There is a drive for him in this film. Like, he is very hell-bent on what he is trying to do. And I would say what he's trying to do in this film, but it'd be spoilers, and I'm keeping this spoiler free. Tom Cruise nailed it, dude. He's 61 years old, and he's still doing this. Like, dude, oh my God, what a movie. This is a theater movie for sure. Y'all gotta go buy a popcorn. Y'all gotta go get a large Pepsi or slushie or whatever you're into, and you gotta sit down and watch this whole thing. There's no pacing issues in my opinion. The chase sequences were fantastic. In fact, I think that the chase sequences they tried to do in Indiana Jones 5 is what they were attempting in this film, only this film actually executes them extremely well. There's a lot more comedy in this film versus like Fallout or Rogue Nation. Ghost Protocol had a little bit of humor as well, quite a bit of humor actually. Actually, it's probably on par with Ghost Protocol in terms of humor. Like, it's not interjected in weird, awkward places. It makes sense. It's goofy, but it's great. It's humor like that. My whole theater was cracking up at that part. I mean, they cracked up at a lot of parts, and there's just some really witty, dry humor here. And not dry humor in the sense of, they say it and it doesn't land. Dry humor in the sense of they say it and it's subtle, but it'll still make you giggle pretty well. The script here was solid. The first 10, 15 minutes, you're totally intrigued. And the first, probably what 25 minutes before the bum 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 when that plays, the intro sequence, which was probably the best one that they've ever done in my opinion, aside from maybe like number 3 or 4, because they have The Wire and it's just really well done. This one goes a little more digital, but there's a reason for that, and it really fits the tone of the film. And the music was composed by Lorne Balfe, if I pronounce that accordingly, but anyway, you can Google him. Just Mission Impossible 7 composer. Dude, he knocks it out of the park. He absolutely killed it. The music in this movie is so badass, and it's just, it's really just the original theme reiterated again for like what, the 6th time, 7th time I guess at this point, because of the original series. It made the theme, right? But anyway, he did an outstanding job. This movie's theme and music throughout the entire film was so good, and I was just sitting there kicking my feet because every time I heard the theme come on and it was like a badass scene, I'm just like bum 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 bum, like I'm singing along. Oh dude, it was so good. But anyway, point being, this film was absolutely outstanding. I could quite honestly see this film being like maybe movie of the year. For me, it was that good, and as a fan of the Mission Impossible movies, this could potentially be the best one that they've done, and that says a lot coming from me, because 3 I love, 4 I absolutely adore, 5 really damn good, and Fallout, just like Ghost Protocol, I absolutely adore it. The stunts, the cinematography, it is a beautiful film. And there's scenes in here that are actually going to remind you of John Wick 4, which I actually kind of appreciated, mainly when they're in Venice. So that was kind of cool. If anybody's saying, oh, this movie's shit, it's just a cash grab, bro, they are tripping sack. Big sack. Because, dude, this movie absolutely kills it. Great music, great cinematography, great writing, great acting. Oh my god, the acting was so good. Everybody was so believable, it's not even funny. Even people like Pom Klementieff, right, from Guardians of the Galaxy. I was like, is she the right choice for this film? Maybe the first 15 minutes she was on screen, I was like, I don't know. And she doesn't say much. But by the end of the film, I'm like, dude, she fit this film chef's kiss perfect. And so did Hayley Atwell. She was a great addition to the cast. You could tell she was probably pretty excited to be there. And dude, her acting skills are top notch. Like, they're so good. She absolutely just gives you everything you'd expect from her type of character, which I'm not going to spoil because it's really interesting. And the chemistry between her and Tom Cruise, they were totally into each other on the screen, and I loved that. And not in that way, just like, they played off each other really well. And the first, I'd say, hour of the film really shows you that. But it's so good. Vanessa Kirby did a great job. She came back from Rogue Nation and Fallout, and she did an absolutely fantastic job as the White Widow, or Alana, whichever one you want to refer to her as. But anyway, this movie absolutely kicked ass. And the one thing I am going to absolutely commend it for doing that Across the Spider-Verse didn't really do so well for me was the ending. So the ending in Across the Spider-Verse, right? I know I'm comparing it to another film, and it's like animation versus, live action stuff. So a little bit of discrepancy there. But in Across the Spider-Verse, because it's a part 1 film, the end of the film is very cliffhanger. And you're just left like, holy shit, I got to wait another year. Damn, right? But in this one, it's left pretty concluded. It wraps up in a neat little bow, and you're very satisfied by the end. But it's not in the same way where it drops off so jarringly, right? Like, it really ends. It ends the whole film. When it ends the whole film. Oh, and in the conclusion of the film, it's so satisfying because the climax is fantastic. Everybody that was introduced in the film is in the climax, and I was blown away by how they were juggling all these different storylines, and actually it felt very well balanced, and it didn't feel out of place at all. It didn't feel like they were spending too much time on this person or this person. Obviously Ethan and Hayley Atwell's character Grace, they got a little bit more screen time towards the end, but Ethan's the main character. Come on, we should have expected that, right? But anyway, wraps up in a neat little bow, fantastic ending. It didn't leave you going, really? I gotta wait another year to finish this? Like, no, you were like, dude, this was a kick-ass movie, and I get to wait another year to get the next one. Like, it left you so satisfied and yet wanting more. So I think what the film was trying to do, executed it perfectly. And there's really only three things that I can think of at the current moment, right after seeing it, that will be picked up in the next film, and that'll be the main villain and his motive, the thing that everybody is after, and a couple of characters that are left ambiguous, at least for now. But fantastic movie. If I were to rate this movie with my handy dandy climate report meter, I'd have to put this thing in scorching. It was that good for me. But if I were to give this a real percentage, scorching is basically my 95%. Or 90%, whichever one you'd like to take. You know, it's kind of up for interpretation. That's why it's not a percentage scale anymore. It's it's a fun little climate scale. But anyway, scorching, man, scorching. I could totally see this being movie of the year, especially the movie of the summer, because after everything we've seen, just like Top Gun Maverick, this movie has blown every movie that's come out prior to it this summer out of the water. I mean, dude, this movie is so good. But as a massive fan, I cannot wait till June 28th of 2024 when part 2 comes out, because bruh, they've got my tickets. They've got my money. Take my money. Shut up and take my money. I am sold. I'm ready. I'll be there. We'll see what the conclusion of Ethan Hunt's story is. Now, I don't know if this will be the final one, but I'd assume it's going to be the final Mission Impossible. So I would assume this is going to be the end of Ethan Hunt's story. Anyway, those are my thoughts and opinions fresh out of the theater. I know I'm filled with just giddiness, but the fact that I came back with this much energy after Mission Impossible, I know internally that this was a fantastic film, and I highly commend everybody who worked on it. Y'all are really holding up the action franchises. Seriously, Keanu Reeves and Tom Cruise, their backs must be hurting, bro, because they keep carrying the action film genre on their backs. Heavy. So, that'll do it. Go see the film now. Don't wait for this to come out on DVD or whatever. I mean, you can obviously do that as well. It's your choice. But you have got to go see this film in theaters, man. I mean, I remember seeing Fallout in theaters, and it had such a different impression on me when I left the theater versus when I watch it at home. Watching it at home, it's still a great film, but watching it in the theaters is an experience. And even Tom Cruise and the director, Christopher McQuarrie, they come in right before the film starts and they go, "Thank you for coming to the theaters. We really appreciate y'all showing up. We make this for the theater." And they couldn't be more right, because this movie is a theater movie. Don't wait for a streaming service. I know it will probably be cheaper, but spend the $16 or whatever price it is at your theater and go see this now. Please, I beg of you. We're really in for a 1-part, 2-part treat. Like, seriously, very well done. I mean, I can't even think of anything I didn't like in the film besides one thing, but I can't spoil it. And it needed to happen. That particular moment is what gave this film far more depth, far more weight, and far more intensity, because now no one is safe. And you gotta go see this. I'm done. I'll shut up now. Thank you for watching the video if you made it this far. It does mean a lot to me. I love doing this. It's a fun little hobby of mine. I just like getting my opinions out there. So yeah, go see Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 while it's in theaters. You gotta do it. And I would highly recommend RPX through Regal or IMAX. Either or. You gotta go see it though. This is your mission, should you choose to accept it. That's gonna wrap it up. Peace out.